Good morning, everybody. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, Sierra. I'm sorry I can't be with you today, but I'm attending a conference on a concept known as the flipped classroom, and it could be an interesting one that could prove to be good for our students here at Cedar Bluffs. Today, what we want to do is we want to do three things. We want to wrap up the final battles of the Mexican War. Those of you that take notes, you'll want to take notes for just a couple minutes. And then I'm going to have all of you finish watching that YouTube video about the Mexican and American War. And then finally, I'd like you to work on an assignment that will be due on Friday. Landon, go ahead and use the computer, my Lenovo. It's on my desk. And folks, during that work time, make sure you're working on that assignment that's due on Friday, and make sure you're using your time well. Ms. Gradu will help you to make sure you're using your time well, and please be respectful and do what you need to do. Do your work now instead of having to do it at home or later on in the day. And then don't forget, Friday we have a test. Friday we're going to take a test over our years of expansion, the wars that took place during the years of expansion. So we'll be focusing on the Indian Wars, we'll be focusing on the Texas War for Independence, and then finally we'll be focusing on the Mexican War. We will do some type of review before we take the test on Friday. When we left off on Monday, we had looked at the Battle of Veracruz and the invasion at Veracruz. And then Winfield Scott had a 200-mile march into Mexico City from there. And that really brings us to our last question that we have to answer for our notes. And that is, what did the final battles of the Mexican War revolve around? Now down below there you see a map of central Mexico, and you can see on the eastern side of the map you can see the town of Veracruz, the coastal town, and then you can also see the path that Winfield Scott's forces are going to follow from March to September on their way to Mexico City. Mexico City is going to be where the area around Mexico City is going to be where the final battles of the Mexican War are going to take place. General Santa Anna realized that in order to protect Mexico City, he was going to have to fortify the areas around Mexico City. So Santa Anna, being the military strategist that he was, set up fortifications near key locations near Mexico City, places that could be well fortified. Winfield Scott had to respond by making a three-prong attack upon Mexico City, and the casualty rates for the fighting around Mexico City were extremely high. Both Mexican losses were in the thousands, and American losses were in the hundreds. But the casualty rate for both sides was very high around Mexico City. But in September of 1840, in September, the United States was able to attack Mexico City itself. And within hours of the battle, the American forces were deep within Mexico City. And at that point, the country of Mexico surrendered to the United States. I have the wrong year posted on there. I apologize. And I don't have time to change it, so I will make sure I correct that. But when Mexico surrenders, this is going to lead to the United States and Mexico sitting down at the negotiating table. An interesting thing you might want to know is on the trek to Mexico City, the United States was offering Mexico $1 million just to sit down and talk. but they obviously they refuse to take that. But in your homework assignment today, one of the questions I ask is, what were the major points of the treaty? So make sure that you understand that, and make sure if you have any questions, you talk amongst yourselves about the major points of the treaty. The assignment I have for you is on my website. It's based on a Wikipedia research again, similar to the one that you did for the Texas War of Independence. I ask you to know just some general information. I ask you to identify and describe why certain battles were key battles in this war, and I also ask you to identify some key individuals in this war. And then finally, I have two questions for you. One about the treaty that ended this war, and then another question about why some Americans were opposed to the war. But before you begin that assignment, I'd like you to watch the remaining portion of the Mexican-American War video that we've been watching. And then after that, I'll have Ms. Gerdau give you time to work on your assignment. And you should have enough time to get everything finished before you leave today. If you have any questions, send me an email. I won't be able to respond to any of your emails until late this afternoon, though. And if you ordered a T-shirt or a sweatshirt for football, come see me between 5 and 7 in the south entrance, and I'll have them.